coming. When you are told that a rainstorm is coming, and there's a 90% chance that there's rain coming tomorrow, what do? You dress differently for the rain. You put your car, I don't know about you, but in my car, I have a setting for the rain. It says wet. And I set it to that. You take an umbrella. You don't take your good purse if you're a lady. You take one of the other purses, or unless you cover it up. But you prepare for it. Why? Because you were told it's coming. You were told it's coming. Now, if you've been diagnosed with a disease that's life-threatening, doctor tells you, if you don't do this, this, and this, and the other, you're going to die. Why? Because we know from history, we know from science, we can tell you in advance that if you don't do this, you are definitely going to die. Death is what is predetermined if you do not do what we're telling you to do right now. Take this medicine, do these exercises, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. You go and you respond. You don't start questioning the weatherman. You don't question the doctor. But you question God. And in fact, all the things that I'm talking about start with Him. God is the one who sends the hurricanes. God is the one who sends the tornadoes. God is the one who sends the rainstorms, the typhoons, the tsunamis. He sends them all. And He gives man signs so that man can predict what's going to happen, so that other men can spread the news so that people don't die. I'm going to take it one step further. Every single one of us, we know we're going to die. Every single one of us, we know we are going to die. And yet, we're not going to go, run out there and try to end it just because we know what's going to happen. But we know we're going to die. God has prescribed a day for every one of us to die. And the reason He has allowed us to understand that we are going to die is so that we can make preparations. We can make preparations. So now, man tells you the hurricane is coming. Man tells you the typhoons are coming, or the tsunami is coming, or the rainstorm, or the hurricane, or the earth, whatever is coming. But when God tells you, when Christ tells you, when the apostles tell you that condemnation is coming, and that He has provided a means for you to escape it, for you to ignore the means of that escape, the condemnation of God is foolish. All men, every single man, I don't care how much money he has, how much fame and popularity he has, how much clout or influence he has in government, every man who rejects Christ is a first-rate fool. Now, here's the thing. I remember when I lived in California, which wasn't that long ago. When I lived in California, we always wondered why people would still be in their houses in Florida when they know a week in advance the hurricane is coming. It used to boggle the mind why people, when they were told to evacuate, why they don't. This is what is happening right now in the spiritual realm. Men are not evacuating themselves from carnal living, from sensual living, from sinful living. They won't stop. They don't believe that their house is going to come crumbling down. They believe that their wealth will protect them. They believe that their power will protect them. They believe that their loved one will protect them. The only thing that is going to protect any person from the wrath of God to come that has been promised, that has been predetermined, the only way to escape it is to flee your sin and flee to Christ. That is it. If you are here right now and you are an unbeliever, if you don't know Christ, you are being foolish. Because I am telling you right now, the wrath of God is well on its way. And you may say, well, it's been 2,000 years right now, because God is long suffering and not willing that any should perish, any of his own people. His wrath is coming, and men aren't listening to the weather report. You understand what I'm saying? This is real. This is real. Look what's going on in this world right now. So I got a few more verses that I want to go to. Let's turn to Romans. I'm sorry, we're in John. Let me stick with John for a minute. Let's go to John chapter 10. John chapter 10. We're dealing with God's choice, God's election, God's predestination. John chapter 10, verse 27. Jesus said the following. Let me start with verse 26. You do not believe me. You do not believe me because you are not of my sheep, as I said to you. Now, Christ is talking to the unbelievers in his day. And he starts off by saying, you don't believe me because you're not of my sheep. In other words, if you were of his sheep, you would believe him. Christ distinguishes his sheep from those who are not his sheep. And he makes that distinguishing factor clear in Matthew 7 when he says on the day of judgment that he will separate his sheep from the goats. So when Jesus says here that you won't believe nothing that I say because you are not of my sheep. My sheep are those whom my Father gave to me. Those who are not of my sheep, but who are goats. Goats don't understand the language that the sheep understand. And sheep are dumb. They follow their shepherd blindly. They know his voice and they won't follow another shepherd. They only know one shepherd and they will never follow another one. Goats are stubborn, rambunctious, and a stiff-necked animal. And they will never know the voice of their shepherd. But sheep, they know their voice. They know his voice. And it says they follow him. Not that they contemplate following him. Not that they deliberate following him,